Emile Durkheim said deviance is normal, but he did not stop there. In a surprising and still controversial twist, he also argued that deviance serves several important functions for society. First, Durkheim said, deviance clarifies social norms and increases conformity. This happens because the discovery and punishment of deviance reminds people of the norms and reinforces the consequences of violating them. If your class were taking an exam and a student was caught cheating, the rest of the class would be instantly reminded of the rules about cheating and the punishment for it, and as a result they would be less likely to cheat. A second function of deviance is that it strengthens social bonds among the people reacting to the deviant. An example comes from the classic story The Ox-Bow Incident, Clark, 1940, in which 3 innocent men are accused of cattle rustling and are eventually lynched. The mob that does the lynching is very united in its frenzy against the men, and, at least at that moment, the bonds among the individuals in the mob are extremely strong. A final function of deviance, said Durkheim, is that it can help lead to positive social change. Although some of the greatest figures in history, Socrates, Jesus, Joan of Arc, Mahatma Gandhi, and Martin Luther King Jr., to name just a few, were considered the worst kind of deviance in their time, we now honor them for their commitment and sacrifice. Emile Durkheim wrote that deviance can lead to positive social change. Many Southerners had strong negative feelings about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during the Civil Rights Movement, but history now honors him for his commitment and sacrifice. U.S. Library of Congress, Public Domain. Sociologist Herbert Gans, 1996, pointed to an additional function of deviance. Deviance creates jobs for the segments of society, police, prison guards, criminology professors, and so forth, whose main focus is to deal with deviance in some manner. If deviance and crime did not exist, hundreds of thousands of law-abiding people in the United States would be out of work. Although deviance can have all of these functions, many forms of it can certainly be quite harmful, as the story of the mugged voter that began this chapter reminds us. Violent crime and property crime in the United States victimize millions of people and households each year, while crime by corporations has effects that are even more harmful, as we discuss later. Drug use, prostitution, and other, victimless, crimes may involve willing participants, but these participants often cause themselves and others much harm. Although deviance according to Durkheim is inevitable and normal and serves important functions, that certainly does not mean the United States and other nations should be happy to have high rates of serious deviance. The sociological theories we discuss point to certain aspects of the social environment, broadly defined, that contribute to deviance and crime, and that should be the focus of efforts to reduce these behaviors.